Let's start with Robert Plant, CBE, who came to worldwide fame in the 1960s and 70s, the lead singer and iconic frontman of Led Zeppelin. The latest move in his now very wide-ranging and long career sees the release of his latest album, Raise the Roof, which is a collaboration with the multi-Grammy Award-winning American bluegrass singer Alison Krauss. Robert, your first album with Alison, Raising Sun, went platinum, won every award going in 2007. Now you've rushed out this follow-up, Raise the Roof, just 14 years later. Why the hurry?
It's hair-raising, isn't it? I mean, you can't stop for a second. Why the hurry? Well, we got to the end of it was a sort of real fantastic period of recording. These accolades that came to us, I never had a Grammy in my life, and I'd already been recording since 1965, 6.
You've had lots of awards, though. You're always ranked towards the top of, the vocalists of all time.
Yeah.
You've had the best chest in rock music as well.
Well, you come to say that, actually, some of my old clothing, now I'm trying to get my grandchildren to wear, but they can't even get some of those little blouses, they're priceless.
You're even Beard of the Year a few years ago.
Yeah.
So you've had your awards.
Yeah.
Maybe not
You've
so
missed
many.
one out, but I can't tell you because it's a family show, but it's...
Was it Rear of the Year by any chance, Robert?
Rear of the Year?
Yeah.
No, I think that's you that got that, Anneka. You got it 10 years running.
I knew it was one award I'd got that Robert hadn't got.
Yeah, well, you
couldn't resist it.
And so
anyway, let's get back to the serious interview.
So there we are. We play this gig together. It's very, very good. And as we're rehearsing, she said to me, I really like your singing, and my brother's told me all about you.
Yeah.
Because she being 15 years, 25 years younger than me. And she said, but if I'm going to harmonise with you, you've got to sing the same thing twice so that I know where to put my voice. And I said, well, that's novel, because I'd always been at the sharp end in all the groups I'd ever been in. I was at the front.
Yes.
Waiting for people to stop playing huge solos and taking us to another place altogether.
Yeah.
And then chiming back in again. So
this is a very different process from leading Led Zeppelin to harmonising.
Yeah. Well, I had 30-odd years in between from the demise of from John's passing. But it was magnificent, because then we realised how ridiculous we were, because we knew so little of each other, and yet we really did make it work.
Right.
And it was such a kind of union. She's such a dear heart, and she's on the money, on the ball. And when you give her a song, say, from a great black New Orleans soul singer, and you think of bluegrass, she kills it.
Yeah.
She just steps right out of the idiom and goes to this place.
And they're mostly cover songs that you're doing here, but a wide-ranging selection of songs. How did you pick those?
Well, T-Bone Burnett, producer, the third man, the kind of Harry Lime of the whole thing, he and I share. I mean, I've got about 8,045 RPM singles and loads of references to black music through time. And Alison, in her world, has got these points of reference from remarkable harmony groups going back to the 20s. And so when we get together, we just exchange these songs. And I mean, I'm singing songs that I'd never even countenanced, and she's finding herself in deep New Orleans soul.
And Everly Brothers as well.
And how's your voice? You've given it some welly over the decades. Do you panic that you're going to lose it? Because you've had some dodgy doctors along the way, haven't you? Giving you kind of wild adrenaline shots.
That's correct, yeah. Yeah, I wonder if I could find one in about 10 minutes. That would be very handy at this time. Well, they say that the voice is a muscle, so if you use it carefully, or if you abuse it, it goes too far. You've had it. But I just keep singing.
But when you didn't go too far, because sometimes the stories you hear about Led Zeppelin, you went too far in plenty of ways. The rock and roll lifestyle.
Well, I've heard a lot about it, but sadly I was never there at the time, so I have no idea. The worst thing in the world is legend, because it's just such a funny game. Do
you feel you had to live up to it, sometimes?
Are you kidding? If I can get an afternoon nap in, I can tell a story.
And do you have dreams where you think, that's odd, in my dream I'm sure I drove a motorbike? into my hotel bedroom. Did that
I don't think that was
happen?
you, was it?
No, I think I stood back and let somebody go over my toes while I was wearing a boa constrictor.
If I was a hotel keeper, I would say, we need
you
to
were a
upgrade
lady.
our televisions. So the best, let's get Led Zeppelin or similar, or another legendary band to come in, and they can clear out the television. We can claim it on the insurance, or claim it from them,
Yeah.
and we can upgrade it.
These are all things that must have been in the film, or maybe it's in somebody else's book. I mean, what kind of deal is that? These people write books about
Yeah.
what they experienced.
Yes.
Surely the best thing to do is to elaborate as much as you can, but only tell people in the pub,
Yes. Okay.
you know, so that it's complete baloney from start to
Now,
finish.
you mentioned the pub. Can I check? Sometimes I check on Wikipedia stories, but I was, mugging up on you a bit, and I came across somebody making a comment in relation, I think, to your latest record, but it could have been anything. He's saying, "Oh yeah, Robert Plant. He lives near me. He often comes into my local pub and sings along with us. What a great guy he is." Is that true, or is somebody pretending to be you going into his local pub?
Well, there have been people pretending to be me, but then I was pretending to be Ray Charles very badly. So it's quite possible that I probably hummed along with something, depending upon how far down the night I'd gone.
Yes.
But you've really stayed local, haven't you? 'Cause you
Yeah.
still live just miles from where you went to school. I kind of found that rather touching, actually.
Well, I have lived in Texas, and I have
But
lived
you're
in
now living local.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I never really left it because there's something really, really endearing about the black country and the edge of the black country, and it's the self-effacing humour. It's the thing that stopped me from
Going completely mad.
the limousine and the dark glasses. Yeah, because everybody looks at you. When I got this award, the Gong,
Yeah.
I'd walk into the village pub and everybody started standing up,
Oh.
taking the mickey. It's magnificent,
Yes.
you know. How I've been around so long now. I think there's a part of the bar where there's some plaques for those dearly departed,
Yeah.
and I know exactly where mine's going to go.
Got it ready. Yeah. Could you sign it? We're just going to get ready for.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best to not exactly cross-examine you because I used to be a lawyer, but you had the experience of the American legal system with Stairway to Heaven, arguing about the derivation. Was that what sort of experience was that? That lasted quite a few days, didn't it?
Yeah.
As to somebody claiming copyright in the.
What can you do? I mean, I just had to sit there. I was instructed, sit directly opposite the jury. Don't look at them, but just don't look at anybody. Just sit there for 8 hours.
Yeah.
And I mean, as much as I am musical, I cannot comment on anything musical. I just sing.
Yes.
You know, I'm at the sharp end, as I said, you know, so it's...
Well, you wrote the lyrics, so I suppose
Yeah.
that wasn't really
Yeah.
the
But
thing that
of
was
course,
in dispute.
You know,
so-
there's zillions and zillions of songs that were carrying the same chord progression. So it was very unfortunate, and it was unpleasant for everybody.
And did they have to sort of? Sometimes in America they go through a lot of procedure to select the jury. Did they have to find people who weren't Led Zeppelin fans?
Well,
or
they chucked out a
or they were
couple of
too
people
young?
who got quite interested in us as we walked in the room.
Yeah.
So they were.
They asked for your autograph. They thought
they
probably
were-
they couldn't sit on the jury.
They had a few albums under their
Well,
arm
one of them
to give
shouted,
away.
"Dad!" to. So yeah, it was horrible stuff.
All right. So just one more question about your album and the future. So did you record it together? Were you able to get together, or were you?
Yeah, majority of
Yeah.
it we recorded at Sound Emporium, which is a really fantastic studio in Nashville. It's really a traditional, got a huge history of
Yeah.
the artists that have come through there. And it's a renegade world that we're in here, because the beautiful, sweet country is not our game. And bluegrass is not our game, and rock is not our game. So we've got this other thing going on,
Yeah.
which has no genre, fortunately. And we were able to exercise it in every respect there together. One or two harmonies I hadn't quite finished when we came back.
Yeah.
It was February 2020. The lockdown was in March. So they sent me the files over, and I did some of the harmonies right next to Peter Gabriel's place in near Bath.
All right. And does that make a difference where you're recording it? Is it important to be in Nashville, or does it change it when it's in Bath,
Well,
or Abbey Road, or wherever you might go?
Well, the deal is, The musicians on this record are incredible, and they were with us before, 14 years ago, and they helped to create the groove and the whole lilt of what we're doing. So I had to be there.
Yeah.
But when it comes to putting on final vocal bits, I can do that, in Aberystwyth, really.
You can do it in your bath or in Bath.
Yeah.
But anyway, Robert Plant, thank you for joining us.
Cool,
Raise the
thanks.
Roof by Robert Plant and Alison Krauss is available now. You can also listen to Digging Deep, the Robert Plant podcast, which is also available now.